full moon tomorrow, and I like this particular moon and its meaning. It's called the strawberry full moon, and it indicates the time when, at least in North America, the Native Americans were making a nod to the fact that the wild strawberries were ripe for the picking. And, you know, that sort of full moon energy is the same thing, something that's run a cycle and is ripe for the picking. You know, new moon, set the intention. Full moon, allow the thing to come back to you. And it made me think, there's a character in a Shakespeare play, King Lear. And I believe it's Lear, it might be one of his people, says, ripeness is all. You know, that moment when you're ripe for the picking, when the wild strawberry has gone through a cycle from flower to berry, and now you can see it. I'm not sure exactly where we're going, but it's something to do with, I'd also written down against all odds. You know, being ready to achieve or having achieved something that perhaps you thought was out of reach, against all odds, ripe for the picking. Enough time has passed. You know, ripe and ripening. Let's not forget about that. You know, lately I've just thought these readings are nuts, and, you know, I sort of have imposter syndrome. I don't really know what gives me the right to sit here and hold forth, but I keep doing it anyway, as long as I can. Out on the board, we have Seven of Pentacles, a card of growth, a card of ripe for the picking. See, this character, it's an earth energy. What's grown? What's ripened? What can I pluck? What's the harvest in 3D? And this is actually not showing a plant in full ripeness. It's sort of the ripening part where a lot is going on in the root system and not much to show for it. But it's a card of assessment, like, has this situation grown into something I can see above ground? It's almost like this is the unconscious mind, the below ground thing. You know, all the energy is underground at this point. Is there enough to show for it? Against all odds. I've been looking for this deck forever, and I finally found it. I just like it. It's a very different kind of modern deck. Is it these? Okay, we're going to lay it out. Strength card. Card of Leo. Of overcoming something. Knight of Cups. A love offer. You know, some kind of heartfelt, somebody showing up to show their love. It looks to be the same guy. Doesn't need to be a man. It just, I think that's the same person. It's like they've invested something and they're at the point of ripeness. You know, they've summoned the strength and courage against all odds to show up. and perhaps show their affection for somebody, like their heart has come online. See the heart pendant here? The courage to connect. It may have taken a long time, Pentacles can speak to time, for this thing to grow and ripen. Years, perhaps. Ripeness is all. Nine of Pentacles. I see that as a card of self-confidence. And this one is plucking the pentacle. Kind of harvesting the fruit of our efforts and time, and perhaps against all odds, coming into our own. Like showing up in 3D. Page of Pentacles. That can be an offer or a face-to-face encounter with somebody. Not hiding who you are. Nine of Pentacles, nine speak to the personal. It shows authenticity, and perhaps it's the courage to feel and for somebody to put themselves out there. Heart on the sleeve kind of thing. Under Knight of Cups, King of Cups, I'll say. Again, with the heart pendant or the heart activation. You can see the energy coming out of this King's heart. King of Cups is notorious for being hesitant to connect. They're full of love. They want to express it, but perhaps because they've been hurt. That's a kind of, for me, a rote way of looking at it. But I think it's the courage to feel and to put yourself out there. This is fire energy, Leo energy, and indicates some sort of tapping into a kind of animal nature. We've got the lion and the lamb here. The lion lies down with the lamb. Some kind of against all odds situation where there's not conflict anymore. On Nine of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles. That's a card of abandonment or of feeling devalued. And Nine of Pentacles is not that. I think enough growth has happened. Pentacles energies speak to growth. So that maybe despite somebody shutting somebody out or not valuing them, not seeing their pentacles, their value in 3D, this person sees their own value. I think King of Pentacles wants to make a small offer, King of Cups, in 3D, something that appears small but isn't, because it changes this dynamic from insecurity to, Nine of Pentacles is grounded in yourself. So whatever this love offer is that's come in after so much time against all odds, I think that this person, this Nine of Pentacles person, if they were abandoned at some point, or if they abandoned themselves, whatever the offer is enough to sustain. It's the ripe fruit that this one's picking from the tree. growth has happened. Ripeness is all. Pentacles energy to do with growth and what's above ground. Like, what have I got to show for it? On King of Cups, Ace of Wands. That we had that yesterday, a kind of hearts on fire. This is the third eye activation, like being able to envision something. And perhaps this person, this King of Cups, eyes shut, like Ace of Wands, eyes shut, is envisioning having the courage to come forward and make some kind of offer. You know, is kind of almost meditating on it. And there may be an element of regret. I've missed the opportunity. What did I do? I shut the door on something loving and important. Seven of Pentacles, please. Hermit, in earth energy, in this Pentacles energy. You know, indicates patience, indicates elevation. The Hermit's journey is solo in earth energy. In earth energy, a card of the singular person who's independent. You know, and it may be somebody's grown in their ability to tap into their internal sage. The wisdom of the Hermit may have taken a long time, but there's a kind of reemergence from this place of enlightenment. See, this person's all lit up. And there are stairs there that go up and down. You know, somebody's climbed to the mountaintop, gotten some kind of wisdom, and is coming back down. They've been galvanized somehow by this time apart. They've gotten their, you know, they've gotten their courage up. Oh, wow, I'll say Emperor. It's a card of divine masculine. There may be somebody who's found a way forward. You know, somebody who knows what to do now. Their psyche is directing them. Wands energy can be directional. Hearts on fire. Strength card in that same fire energy. To show love. And it may just be showing up in the world as a loving person. Takes a lot of courage these days. Anytime. But I think that, you know, the Spirit is suggesting you're ripe enough, you know, you're ready enough to show up. This guy is holding the chess piece. It's like, what's the next move? You've invested time and energy. You've even gone, and I think this is the other guy, into the cave to get some personal wisdom. The 9 card in Major Arcana Hermit and the 9 card in Minor Arcana, both in earth energy, 9 of Pentacles. To get centered, to come into oneself, to be able to take action. Emperor is all about taking action, knowing what to do and how to do it. Ready to wear the heart on the sleeve. On Page of Pentacles, 10 of Swords. Some cycle is closed out. I think this is you. You know, who's come back into their own after a period of, you know, being abandoned or left out or feeling left out, feeling like somebody shut the door on you. It appeared to mark the end of a cycle. And then suddenly there's this offer. And I think there's a question, will you open the door to this person? Will you open the door? Because it'll take courage on your part to open the door. It'll take courage on the part of this other person to open their heart. Strength card. Fool. Fire energy again. Leo energy. Sorry, Aries energy, the same energy as Emperor. This is a willingness to take the risk. It could be you, it could be the other guy, it could be both of you. To start fresh. To take a leap of faith. To have the courage to step off the edge. To wear your heart on your sleeve. Knights are on the move, love on the move. I think the divine masculine or feminine gender, is kind of taking control of their heart, and it's not, I'll control this, I'll set the pace and I have an idea of how this should go, because really what Emperor is doing is coming to the edge, starting fresh, moving toward wholeness in some way, toward ripeness. Beginner's mind, Page of Swords. And again, there's this edge element. How can we look at this situation and breach the gap? It's a card of study, of the student. Page of Swords, Ten of Swords. I think once this cycle has closed out, it'll take courage to take the risk to both make and accept a love offer. Devil energy. That's a card of fear, and fear of letting go. Or fear that somebody's going to control you, or that some kind of pattern is going to repeat that was not healthy. Cycle is closing out. I think this is a big refresh, a chance to start again. Having worked hard to get free of some kind of codependent or addictive behavior. A feeling of being manipulated or puppeted. There's a puppet down here. Attached in some way to, maybe there's a need to cut the cord. Somebody may be curious about that, and curious about shadow work. Facing the fear. And once you face the fear, you have the strength and courage to face the fear. Then in comes life force energy, the willingness to take the risk. This is the first card in the major arcana. It really points to the ripening aspect of this. Have I grown enough? Pentacles energy. Has the other person, grown enough? Is this situation ripe for the picking? Is it this? Knight of Pentacles. That's moving forward step by step, perhaps to extricate oneself from something somebody felt like they could not live without. Now they're moving step by step onto something. They've done some kind of work to liberate themselves. They're starting fresh. Beginner's mind, Page of Swords, Fool card. Closing out a cycle and beginning fresh. Developing self-confidence, Nine of Pentacles. One step at a time. Yeah, okay. Queen of Cups. King of Cups, Queen of Cups. And this one is in a position of receiving, from on high and from their own heart. Perhaps both parties have somehow transmuted this clinging, codependent, energy that makes both of them more afraid. They've summoned the strength to begin again, at least in the psyche, in their ability to envision it. They both, King and Queen of Cups, are kind of in a wash of feelings. Water energy, feelings energy. Somebody's grown tremendously spiritually. Seven of Pentacles. Hermit card. Grown in confidence. Nine of Pentacles. And in their core self. They face their fear and are moving forward. And I think Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, they're moving forward slowly but surely to take the action, Emperor card, the next move, which may be to show up with something that appears small, like some sort of little gesture. How about this? It appears small, but it's not for this person. It's not small. And I think they're curious about, Page of Swords is like curious. They want to look into it. Will my Queen of Cups receive it? Will they have the courage, the faith, the fortitude to open the door? To look at their own fear face to face, Devil card. Is it this? Judgment. Major Arcana card of, I like this. It's almost the same pose, right? Receiving the energy, opening the heart, allowing love in. For a second chance, for reconciliation, something coming back to life after a long time. And I see this as kind of a ripening too. Of a second chance, willing to risk it. It's always a risk to open your heart to somebody, and it doesn't always work out. We don't always meet each other's expectations. A relationship can become clingy and toxic. Perhaps this one was clingy and toxic in the past. And this is kind of the prayer to transcend that. To take the risk, to allow the feelings to come in, to open the door. Is it this? Ace of Swords. That's the new idea, looking into it, looking for information. And here, this is kind of book learning, you know, having an idea that you find from investigating intellectually. This is somehow it beaming right into your brain. This new idea, this fresh approach. And maybe it's knowing, I don't know, when you're ripe enough, knowing the time to open the door. Because something happened that undercut your confidence and made you feel devalued. You've definitely recovered from that, or are recovering step by step. Is it this? Is it this? Is it on the split? King of Swords. You know, that's somebody who stands back to analyze something, to get their head clear. That's sort of the thinking mind coming back online. King of Swords, Page of Swords. And it might entail, you know, turning inward to figure yourself or this person, Emperor, Knight of Cups, to figure themselves out. Have I grown enough? Am I strong enough to take the risk? Strength card, Fool card. And some kind of answer comes. Ace of Swords can be the question. I think Queen of Cups is opening their heart to the question. And I don't really get that. Okay. Bottom of the deck there that revealed itself was the Ace of Cups. You know, I think taking a closer look with some clarity, and perhaps it has to do with communicating, being brave enough to communicate, and I think it's on Divine Masculine, the opportunity for love, the heart activation. Seven of Pentacles is a card of assessment too. Have I grown enough? Are we ripe yet? You know, a card of assessment, getting some clarity on it, being willing to look at something. I think opening the heart is the, you know, that's the to be or not to be of this situation. And take your time. Hermit energy, you know, tap into the deepest level of your psyche to find the answers. It's not one answer. It's kind of the overview. Ripeness is all. Ripening is all. This will take courage on the part of both people. Ace of Swords, Ace of Wands. So there's an envisioning and there's a willingness to let the answer come in. Kind of, not in a passive way, but, you know, in a kind of prayerful way. Dive deep for this one. You might be dealing with somebody who's been very controlling and cold, perhaps, King of Swords. They may have shut the door on you. Now the door, it's like it's cracked open and, you know, the heart is cracked open. What are we going to do about it? Emperor, Ace of Wands. That action, you know, that action-taking energy of fire. What's the next move? Against all odds, the door is cracked open. I'll see you next time. Love you guys.